That's where I go, mate. I mean, I hope not. I hope you don't, you know.
This is the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Tonight, we'll kick off 2018 with our annual prediction show, where we'll talk about what we predicted for 2017 and how well we did, and come up with new predictions for 2018, all while we run the Kadamimu Flashpoint. This broadcast astromech is EPC 226. And playing alongside me is Seema. And Seema, I heard your mount froze before it reached the first marker this week. How are you doing?
Hi, Max. Yes, my Subaru mount did not survive this cold weather we're having, and it froze up and would not start last night. So I was actually stranded, not stranded out on the road. I was at someone's house, but yeah, we got an unplanned sleepover because I could not move my car out of the driveway, and AAA wouldn't come because since my car was in a driveway, they were only servicing people that night, last night, that were like stuck on a road somewhere. And when I finally got a hold of them again today, they said they had 500 people on hold. So I guess it's just a really tough day for AAA and frozen cars. Who knew? Usually I park in the garage, so I don't have this issue, but I was parked in my friend's garage. Anyway.
As we said in the pre-show, you should have parked it inside a Tauntaun.
Yes. I definitely should have. And the really bad part is like nobody who was parked in front of me could get out either. So anyway, my car is in the shop right now, and I'm at home with my things, so my own bed. I'm happy. But in SWTOR, let's see, this week we've had sort of a holiday week in SWTOR. We did MFN Light last week. Basically, whoever was around, we went to Nar Shaddaa and threw snowballs and had, fun times chatting in Discord. So everyone made a lot of CXP, and that was basically our MFN last week. And I've actually spent some other time throwing snowballs. And as people have said in Guild Chat and Discord, even though the double XP is over, it's still not a bad way of getting CXP to just go to Nar Shaddaa and throw snowballs during your downtime.
And it's very social.
Yes. Yes, it is. And general can be pretty interesting while you're doing that.
Yep.
So yeah, quiet times in SWTOR. How about you, Max?
Yeah, nice little break. I've had my college kids in town, so we've been hanging out and watching movies and that kind of stuff, but I've still been in Star Wars a little bit too. I've been doing still quite a bit of crafting lately, although that market is really slowing down. I think all the people who have millions and millions of credits are getting their augments up to date, and so that market for the augments is still... the prices on those are coming down and down and down, but the price of materials is still staying pretty steady because the crafters still snap them up as soon as they get anywhere that's sort of cheap. So that market's going to need to stabilize still more over the next couple of weeks, I think. So that's still been fun in doing a few other things, but not a ton, just sort of hanging out. So it has been a good time in Star Wars, and looking forward to getting things back on track over the course of the next week as we get back into all of the 2018 Guild festivities.
I agree.
Let's do the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So there was a problem this week. It's cleared up, but if you had a problem getting your one-time password, then that was due to what was technically termed the servers got jammed up, apparently. But what that is if you do not have an authenticator on your account, then you need to, from time to time, use a one-time password that it sends you after it doesn't recognize the computer that you're logging in from. It sends you that one-time password. You can type it in, and then you're good for a little while. I would recommend, regardless, getting an authenticator. You can use the Star Wars: The Old Republic app, which you can get for most, I think, Android and iPhone. I'm pretty sure. You could also use the Google Authenticator, or I use Authy. Those also work as your authenticator. So now I have everything consolidated into Authy. I'd certainly recommend doing that. It really protects your account, and it's not that big a deal if you just have your, especially because everyone has their phone with them all day. If that's your authentication device, then you're all set. So do it.
Good advice.
What else is in the news?
Oh, sorry. I'm actually running around looking for you on the fleet. Let's see, what else is in the news? Oh, yeah. Just to let you know, the Life Day Festival of 2017 is going on until January 16th. So we still have a couple weeks to throw snowballs and buy stuff and et cetera, et cetera. I, however, got nervous and went ahead and bought the Life Day bundle instead of waiting because I was worried that I would miss the sale price because I bought mine with cartel coins.
I also
But you did not.
Yeah, I also bought the bundle, as you can see here. If you're watching the live stream or video at all, I am on the Ice Tromper something holiday Ice Tromper, Merry Ice Tromper, and I've got my flare. I've got my special snowflake flare up there. My favorite thing about the flare is that it's animated. I like that the snowflake has snowflakes around it. That's pretty meta. Anyway, I like that. I like the Ice Tromper, but I bought mine with credits off the GTN. It was around 30 million or so, which is expensive. But as I said, I've been raking in some credits lately, doing a lot of grinding of crafting. So I picked it up. And
Yeah, I like the ice on his. Yeah, I like the ice dripping off him, but I also like all the packages, the red and the green, and
yeah, I didn't realize
I think he's
I did
cute.
not get the bundle from last year, which I'm a little now I'm disappointed in. Even though I obviously didn't think that was that big a deal last year. I've gotten all the other ones before that, but yeah, he's a pretty good mount. And yeah, I agree. The icicles off his tusks are the coolest part.
This chat room is shaming me for spending real money. I actually didn't, though. I just used the cartel coins that I get for being a sub.
Mm-hmm. You get that grant, and you get an extra 100 a month if you have an authenticator on your account, whether or not you're subscribed. Now, you can't put an authenticator on your account unless you're subscribed, but if you unsubscribe after that and keep the authenticator account, you still get an extra 100 cartel coins a month as a result. Another reason to have an authenticator on your account. And as you said, Zima, although Life Day does continue until January 16th, Double XP is over. However, there are still plenty of fun things to do and plenty of ways to have plenty of XP in the game. I know a lot of our guildies over the break were taking advantage of the Double XP to get some of their classes, the Double XP and Double CXP, to get some of their classes, base classes up to rank 300, which then gives you the legacy bonus for any additional alts that you're getting into CXP, yada, yada, yada. There's also all the boosts all over the place, and joining a guild can get you some more bonuses. So although Double is really awesome, we're still doing in a pretty good place, I think, with CXP in general. How's the guild, Seema?
So in guild news, like I mentioned, we didn't have MFN this week or last week due to Life Day festivities in real life. But next week on the 9th, MFN is returning. That's 9 p.m. Eastern or some other time in other time zones. And it's going to be on the Imp side next week.
Yes, and I think it's on the Imp side next week, and I think it's on the Republic side the week after that.
You may be right about that.
And I may miss it next week. We'll see. I'll be disappointed, but I think I will not make it back from a business trip in Hotlanta that I have early next week.
Aw, I wonder if it really is hot in Hotlanta right
I
now.
looked
because
it up
Georgia
and it
has
is not.
like a big. It isn't.
No, it's like 35, so it's hot compared to here when it was at -8 this morning, and it was a high of 2 yesterday, but I'll still bring my winter coat when I go down there, which I actually prefer. I didn't want it to be like -2 here and then 70 down there. What was I going to do? And, wear
Right.
layers, I guess. It's all about layers, like an onion. Why
You could
can't it be a
wear
parfait?
onion layers. Yes.
Also in community news, a couple things in community news. Shout out to Marcus, who has started up a podcast. I don't have all the details on me right now. I meant to grab them beforehand, but congrats, Marcus. We're going to be keeping an eye on that. We'll be watching your career with great interest.
Yes, we will.
And I saw a really good post on Reddit recently, I think today actually, that summarized a bunch of links to all of the short story content that's on SWTOR.com that all of the devs and the writers have been doing over time. And if you look at the list here, it is quite a long list. They've done
Yeah, it is.
8 companion blogs, and then all of these short stories, and then a bunch of blog posts that are story-ish, and et cetera, et cetera. Quite a bit of content, much more than I thought or remembered. I think I've read all of it, but it's more, the collection is more than I remembered, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is a great post. This is the kind of thing that is really great about Reddit.
Yes, and this is worth its upvotes. See here, 267 upvotes. That was good job, good content. Somebody spent time putting this together. They probably spent almost as much time as it takes to do a podcast, putting this post together.
Clearly,
So it's
clearly a labor of love.
And so I think if somebody spends that much time making original content for the community, they should get a lot of upvotes. But that doesn't always happen. So there you go. Also in community news, we have an awesome chat room. I've been chatting with them in the room all night already. Thanks everyone. That's been pretty cool having you guys around. As we said, leaving 2017, I'm glad you came back in 2018. I will catch up with you all after the show and we will chat more. And with that, I think, are we fine here, Seema?
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Classic.
I've been meaning to do another starter intro to our live playthrough segment where we're also going to talk about predictions tonight, but I didn't have one done yet. I was going to make you join an ops group so I could at least get the ops sound instead of the Warzone join sound that I've been playing lately. So I'll get the ready check ops sound before long. So what we're going to do, though, is we are going to run Katamimu. So this is the post. I don't think it exists anymore on the Old Republic website. So oldrepublic.net was a website. I couldn't find this. This link is broken to their old site, but the PCgamer.com still has this post up, and it shows this poster that was put together, this image drawing that was put together by oldrepublic.net way back in the day. This is what I'm using to determine progression and what we should do next and when we should do the flashpoints. So I recommend checking it out. I should blow it up a little bit more here so you guys can see it. But what it shows is as you start either Imperial or Republic, you go to Dromund Kaas, and then after Dromund Kaas, there's Hammer Station. Before Dromund Kaas is Black Talon. Black Talon is the story of how you get from Korriban to Dromund Kaas as you get to the fleet. And we're down here, although we're over-leveled, we just finished up our story on Tatooine. We did Mando Radar, actually a little bit out of order. We did it after Tatooine instead of before, but Katamimu still is in here in this story progression range. So we're going to do Katamimu, and then we'll move on to Alderaan for the next part of the story. And then Boarding Party comes after that on the Imperial path, and then Foundry. Boarding Party and Foundry are definitely part of continuing story. Those are definitely great to do. Most of the other flashpoints, Mando Radar and Katamimu, are a little bit outside the storylines in general. But Boarding Party and Foundry, although they're not directly in your class story, they are a part of the continuing story of the game in a big way. So I definitely recommend doing those. So Kadamimu is what is next for us, and so let's kick it off and talk to the Malgus, who's gonna tell us what we need to do here, and then we'll start talking about what we predicted in 2017 and how awesomely right we were, or not.
Lord Malgus, you wish to speak with me?
That's correct. Kadamimu 5 is an industrial world used by the Republic as a weapons depot, the so-called war chest of the Outer Rim. Now the planetary governor faces charges of corruption and has declared independence rather than stand trial. This is our opportunity.
There's no Republic fleet and no treaty between the Empire and Kadamimu.
Indeed, and they have something we want. If we acquire or eliminate Kadamimu's weapon stockpiles, 3 Republic sectors will be left undefended. Conquering the planet is secondary. Nonetheless, we must act before Republic troops put down this rebellion, or before the governor readies the Kadamiman defenses.
What sort of arsenal can the governor access? What are we facing?
The stockpile consists of over 80,000
Smugglery
missiles
outfit.
designed to obliterate capital ships. As we speak, the governor is overriding Republic security protocols and arming the planetary missile batteries. Its private army is quelling civilian riots, but the army's elite will protect the missile command center. Push through, take control, and Kadamimu will be ours.
I'll leave for the planet immediately, Lord Malgus. Be prepared for my signal.
The fleet is assembling. When you are finished, it will be ready to secure the system.
My responses there weren't dark enough for me, but Malgus is pretty dark side, so maybe I'm just sort of okay with
So you're
what he's gonna
dark
come.
enough if you do what Malgus wants.
Yeah, he's pretty dark side. He like blew up the whole Jedi temple and whatnot, which was pretty awesome. All right, so let's get in here to Kadamimu. And while we do that, 2017, so last episode of the podcast, we walked through all the things that happened in 2017. What did you predict would happen in 2017, Seema? And how many of your predictions were correct?
Well, almost none.
No, you had some that were.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so not
a
the
couple of
wishes,
easy
just
ones,
just the predictions.
Yeah, I think we both predicted new story, which that was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, that's actually yes and no, right? Because we got
A continuation
story,
of
but not a
story.
yes, continuation, right?
Yeah, that's
Um,
sort of yes and no. I do count it as somewhat new story because the whole Eternal Throne and Valkorion, the end of Valkorion still happened, and we've got a new story. Just because it sort of connects to some degree doesn't mean it's not a new story.
Right.
But it's not a whole
right.
new class of lore or something, I guess. So there's that.
But yes, yeah, totally agree. But again, I mean, we're always going to get story in this game, so that was not a hard one.
Right.
We predicted ops, both of us did, and that is another one that's sort of yes and no. We haven't gotten we didn't get the complete operations in 2017, but it did start, and we got 3 of the bosses, so there's that.
Yeah. So close.
And we
I
predicted,
think that counts.
I think we both predicted a new stronghold. So those were that was kind of the low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna blow this stuff
actually-
up while you're talking.
oh,
Are
I
you just gonna let me
predicted,
die
I
over here?
predicted Cephas.
What was that prediction? Prediction dash Cephas.
Right.
That's really more of a wish.
I think that's yeah, more of a wish, right? Yeah, but most of my other stuff from last year was wishes, and I have almost all the same wishes this year, really. But we'll get into that.
Yeah. So what was your? Let's see. What did you wish for? What were some of the things you wish for? You wish for crafters making pets. You always wish for that. Well,
Yeah, I
yes
mean,
and no. You
and my
that was a little more
I
specific
do always,
than.
I mean, I do always wish for it, but really what that wish is for something cool other than something cool for crafters to do other than gear that's just going to be good for, you know, until you get more gear or into something that's not just gear
Yeah,
in
I agree.
general.
Uh,
And it's something to craft, something to collect, something to go after, something to play around with, something to bring out during ops and have fun with. Um, but yeah, I would like I would like crafting to be able to participate in the sort of day-to-day part of the game instead of just like waves when you knew when everybody needs new gear, and then for the people who are into credit making, which is fine. That's a good mini game, but I would like it to be something all the time that people might be interested in. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna set Kumval here to healing. We kind of got a taste of it with the whole new, a little bit with the augments. There was something to play with. A little bit with the reusables for
Yeah, that's
biochem.
true.
That was something to play with, but it's not very much, right?
Right.
So
It, yep. I did do that with the biochem stuff. I did, learn them and make them and
So I do agree there. It would be great if there was more. That would really be a fun part of.
but I mean, to be fair, that's something that every game struggles with, right? Is how to make crafting relevant. So
Yeah,
it's not just a SWTOR thing.
yeah, that's true. I mean, in any game, maybe there's like a thing that you can do or a couple things. Well, like in World of Warcraft, there's a little bit more you can do with the professions. But then once you make that thing, once you make the awesome mount or whatever, then the profession goes back to being not much of anything. The one thing that they have in WoW that I just thought of that would be interesting to see how they could potentially implement it in Star Wars is the progression of the profession in the new expansion in Legion had a whole sort of series of quests associated with it also.
Yeah.
So what if you had a biochem quest line or an artificer quest line, and you had to like go into Aethys as an artificer and find some special things so you could get so you could craft the next rank up of Serendipitous Assault relic or whatever. Would that be
think
interesting or
for me,
boring?
well, I mean, it kind of depends, right? On I don't know how fun the quests and content are. Like some of that in WoW just felt like hoops to jump through that I didn't really want to do.
Right. And in some ways it didn't really feel rewarding. I mean, I've sort of been doing it on some of my characters and then never even once making anything that it was giving me.
Yeah.
So there's that
Yeah.
too.
I mean, I think in some ways making crystals and making dyes for artificers kind of hits the mark more for me than having maybe quests to do it, because especially if they would do something with the dyes where it was maybe even sort of random, like instead of making like a gray, a red black dye, you made a dye and it could be any of two colors and you didn't know, and so everybody would be making different dyes.
Yeah, that is interesting. I always forget about the dyes, and I never got into making many of the dyes.
Well,
But
I
that
mean,
would be a good.
they're not that useful now because there's only a handful that are craftable, and people want the more extravagant cartel market ones more. So
Right, but
it doesn't have this kind of life that I'm talking about. I wish we had for crafting.
right. So it would be nice if it did. I think you're right.
Ah. And making pets and mounts and stuff, if you could do that with crafting, I think that would be awesome. And I don't mean like Cybertech. There's 2 or 3 mounts you can make, and the recipes are really easy to get, and everybody gets hundreds of them and has to vendor the recipes. Not that, a lot of mounts and a lot of pets, and maybe you do have to do a quest chain or a lot of farming to find certain recipes. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, that would be part of the collection of it to me. So
Right. Yeah, I agree. That's a good idea. I don't know what it's hard to do that for all of the professions, so they'd have to figure that out. But armor mech could have some unique armor sets that you could chase down and that kind of thing. I don't know. You could probably figure something out.
well, I mean, I gave it a lot of thought last year, and I thought, all the different classes could make different kinds of pets. Like artificers could make pets that were sort of like crystalline structures, and armor mechs could make like little walking droids, and cybertech could make turrets or flying ships or spy droids, like that.
Yeah, I see some of your notes here. That's actually a good idea. Let's see. You also wished for inventory search. We got a little bit more of searching. We got searching in collections. We got so
Yeah,
so there was
I mean,
that.
that helps.
And then so I should have given you a yellow on that one. I've color coded.
But it's a wish, right? I didn't really predict it, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah, but I think it's a double down if your wild wishes come true. So it's
Okay.
So what was that?
I'll
What was
take
that
it.
wish? Was that a wish where you said you wish for stuff, more stuff when you're just out doing content and dailies and that kind of thing?
Right.
Explain
One of
that
my wishes last year was that there was a chance of something really cool dropping out in the world, so that when you were out in the world doing weekly heroics at the time, that's what you'd be out in the world for. Maybe there'd be a chance of like a mount that has no other source but that dropping, or a pet or toy or whatever, or that's what I was thinking. But also, now that we get CXP from just about everything, that almost fulfills that
Yeah.
for me, because
Yeah.
now it's worth it to go out, and do stuff beyond just money or XP, which you don't get when you're max level anyway. But so now you get the possibility of improving your gear too. But I still would like it for like weird things, like when that, like the unusual egg that was part of the quest to get, I forget which pet or whatever, but
Orokeet
just
or something. Yeah.
yeah, that's right, Orokeet, yeah. So like maybe different colors of Orokeets that would, or different colors of Tauntauns that might drop. And I'm not talking about like that you would go out there specifically to farm for them, but just that there's a chance of it, so it's worth going out there.
And a little fun extra thing.
Yeah.
And that relates actually to one of my wishes, or it could relate to one of my wishes for this year. So let's put a pin in that. I'm paused here in this room in Kadamimu. So in Kadamimu, we're fighting our way through the city, right? We just got into basically inside a nightclub. Back in the day, this nightclub used to be filled with like 20 or 30 mobs, and you'd have to like fight them all. And they like all pulled at once, and you'd try to like hide around the corner and AoE them all down, but it was a real pain. Do you remember that?
I
Do you
remember
that in
that.
this room?
Yep.
Yeah, so it was sort of a refreshing change to come around the corner and just see a nice nightclub. We could grab a chilled Corellian cocktail on our way there. All right, to wrap it up, you wished for so playable race Ortolan. Was that a wish or a prediction? You didn't.
It's a wish.
Yeah, I know it's a wish.
It's my wish. Everything is so serious in this game. I always kind of wish for something colorful and adorable.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That was one thing I sort of, when Star Wars first came out, not that I was really need cute things in my games, but compared to pretty much most of the Class A MMOs out there these days. None of like the pets and mounts in Star Wars are very cute in any way.
Right.
The little
right.
baby tauntauns are as close as it got, and even if you zoom into them and look at them up close, are pretty ugly. There was no like little bunny or fuzzy chicken or all the things in Final Fantasy and a bunch of things in WoW, and like half the playable races in WildStar were a lot of really cute things, and there's not that much stuff like that.
And I mean, the Star Wars movies, they have cute things too. So I mean, there's a precedent.
Do you have? You don't have slicing,
No.
do you? We can't
I
get
don't
through
have
that.
slicing.
So there's a security gate there that you have. If you had slicing, you could get through and save us from a couple trash packs. But that's okay. Let me CC that. Social.
I depend upon you
adjustment
to get
drone.
slicing.
I forgot. I didn't realize what those were named until now. It's a social adjustment drone. That's ominous. Oh,
It's
there's
gonna
two of
adjust
them.
us
Can you CC the other one?
Yeah.
They hit kind of hard. Let me see if I can use my lightning storm and not break the CCs. Oh, look at that pro move there. And kill this separatist officer real quick. My predictions for last year. My predictions. Let's do the one on the left first. My predictions were one new operation and one war zone. I predicted sometime by summer. I think it's maybe started by summer. Even as the year progressed, I expected us to be farther done with Gods from the Machine
Yes.
by the end of the year,
I did
but
too.
I will count that as a successful prediction, even though that's really low-hanging fruit. I predicted a new expansion in the fall. So not really. I mean, we sort of got, this is that yes and no. Is Gods from the Machine and Iolcath a new expansion? Not really. It's kind of, but not really. And it's kind of new story. That was part of it. I was really thinking more new expansion. And I think that's going to translate over into one of my predictions for 2018. And then, yeah, I predicted a new stronghold. We actually got 2, so we both were successful on that one. And what? So they were the train and what were the 2 new expansions? It was the train. Was it 2 this year? No, or was it only 1? Just the train. Or was Manan this year? When did Manan come out? I felt like we got 2. I felt like Manan was one of them that came earlier in the year.
Manan must have been early in the year.
Yeah. So we could look back in our notes. Yeah, chat room is saying that Manan was in 2017. And then we got the Umbara train, which, even though I don't use it, I think was a really cool way to do a stronghold and pretty unique as far as things in games go. To have that be a always running player housing sort of unit type thing, I think is pretty cool. So there's that.
Yeah, and I liked that there was a different way to get it too. Like you had to sort of semi-earn it by running the flashpoint.
Yeah, that
a few
too.
times.
That too. So yes, and then under me for wishes, I had a wish for server merge. So that is not something I expected, and that's why I put it under the wishes category.
But you doubled down, man.
But yeah, double points for that kind of wish coming true. That's pretty crazy that we got that this year. I would never have expected that. I think I'm glad that it's in there now. But yeah, it's not something I would have expected. So cool. What else did I wish for? I wished for PvE GSF. We did get a little bit of updates to GSF, but I'm not counting that. I don't get any points for that one, because although we got a new map and we got tuning and we got a little bit of focus on GSF, which I'm glad we got at least that. No PvE GSF. I think that would be a good thing to wish for, and I may continue to wish for that year after year. And then I wished for, which I may wish for again this year, what I'm calling legendaries. So legendaries. What I want is not, how we've got sort of legendary level, like 248 gear. What I wanted and what I predicted and what I was really hoping for was unique items, maybe a handful of them in the game. Maybe there's, 16 of them, two for each class, sort of, more specific to the kind of thing that your class would do or would need to use. But you can only equip like one of them. So, and they would have to be like significant power levels and utility, and really a really cool thing and something you really do want to have. So WoW has legendaries exactly like this. You can get legendary items in like Diablo. All these kind of games have that idea of these sort of legendary things. I think that would be cool to have in Star Wars too. But we did not get that. That was on my wishes. So that was 2017.
We did not.
We did okay. Some of the low-hanging fruit we got. Couple weird, interesting things that ended up coming to fruition, which we're happy about, but only okay. So let's take a look at 2018. What are you predicting for 2018, Seema? In fact, I haven't even read your predictions yet. Oh, yeah, Kevin. I see one of the things.
Okay, well, one of my predictions is that the new big antagonist will be revealed. I mean, obviously in 2018, we're going to get more story. But one of the things that we had from the beginning of the game was basically the same big antagonist, which turned out to be Valkorion in the end. And now we need that. Or maybe we need that. But I think we're going to get at least a hint of that. And maybe the current story is actually hinting at that. We don't know. But that's one thing.
Oh,
I think we're going to get.
That's interesting. You want to add that to your prediction, or make a separate prediction that the current Iocath story will lead us into the next big antagonist coming next year?
Oh yeah, I totally think it will. I guess that is a prediction.
Oh, there you go. I like that.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna find out what Theron is doing and then kill somebody and then that'll be the end. I do think it's gonna introduce us to the next set of things we have to beat over time. Interesting.
I like it. And I like that concept. I think that's pretty safe to say that we're gonna get. Well, no, I don't want to say safe. I think that's a valid prediction. I would predict the same thing. I think that's on my list. New story content, new expansion-ish type content, and a new, bad guy or bad guys or some, new antagonist as part of that story. So cool. All right, there's that. What else are you predicting?
I'm predicting that there's going to be changes or upgrades of some sort to Conquest. That they're going to do something to Conquest this year that's going to make it that's going to have something different about it, a new feature or better in some way. That's kind of vague, isn't it?
And what here, come run over here. We'll AoE all this stuff down. Bring the hounds. Loot the hounds. Oh, for Conquest. Sorry, I was mishearing. I was thinking CXP. So you think for Conquest we're gonna get something new is going to happen. Okay. All right. And you don't know what that's going to be? You don't have an idea of what that's going to be yet? Or maybe a wish
No.
for what you'd want that to look like?
I'm not sure if it's going to be. Well, I mean, I'm going to count it as a win. Let's say we do get new levels. So having Conquest expanded so that it takes in new planets and stuff like that, that might qualify for green next year on this one.
That would
But
be.
I think it's going
would be
to
a week. I think we would like that yellow.
pale yellow. No, I don't have an idea what it is. I just feel like Conquest is kind of ready for something like that, and Conquest is the kind of activity that pulls value out of old content and old crafting, and I just think that, yeah, they might do something with it.
Yeah, I think that's good. All right, so we're at this boss fight here in Kadamimu. Remember, this is the one, and for anybody who's watching, you've got to kite the big guy around. You can't let him touch you, or he puts you in prison. Basically, these like cops, and he's the cop droid. And if he gets to you, then he imprisons you. And I think that sort of makes the fight really hard at that point because you're imprisoned in a little prison cell sitting there on the deck. You also then kite him through the circles on the ground that then freeze him, which allows you to DPS him down then because I think he's shielded otherwise. So we can go ahead and start this fight and see how we do while we're talking about the rest of your...
Do we kill the droid first? Or we...
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember which one we kill first. Yeah, I think we killed the droid first. I think we can sort of DPS them both a little bit because the guy... I think the droid gets shielded until you kite him into one of the things. Are we going to get messed up because of our companions in here? Well, we'll see.
Probably.
I don't know.
Actually, I'm going to put mine back on healing because they seem to get in less trouble.
Yeah, mine's on healing too. So, all right. So let's just see how it goes. Oh, unless they made this easier. Oh, I think you DPS him down for a little bit, and then... Oh, no, yeah, there. Now he's activating.
Oh, he
droid.
activates the droid, yeah.
Did you just get under arrest?
Oh, I guess so. That was kind of instant.
Is there a timer on it? We're going to get you out of that? I wonder. Whoa. I died. What? Were our companions dead? No, it's the companions got frozen and is under arrest. Blank is under arrest. Yeah, this did mess up our companions. All right, we'll have to do it again. But we could burst that guy down really quick. We'll just have to get out of that first prison cell that drops. All right, so while we're running back from being terrible and dead, where's my I'm terrible title? I need that.
Yes. Me too. I need the bad title.
So this is predictions now. I see the next bullet on your prediction list. Do you really want this on your prediction list? Is this a prediction?
What? We'll see. Oh, Cephas? I predict Cephas, yeah.
Well, actually that's not a bad prediction. Your track, if you predicted that every year up until this point, your track record would actually be pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4.
Something new that we are not anticipating, a la the DVL event. And I don't mean the DVL event itself, but something that we haven't thought about, like that summer we hadn't thought about DVL event. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I think that's a good prediction. I didn't think of that. I think I predicted something similar. You'll see, but not that kind of event. I think they should do something like that. For better or for worse, the DVL event did generate a lot of activity, for our guild,
Yeah.
and everybody was doing stuff, and I did get legendary. It was, I don't know. There's just a whole bunch of stuff to do. I leveled up all those characters, and in some ways you could say that was boring and terrible, but in some ways it was a thing, and I did it. And
Yeah.
we've said this before. If they trick you into playing the game and having fun, you are still playing the game and having fun.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So, you know what I was just doing? I was pressing my push to talk key. I was just holding it down there.
Yeah. So those are my predictions. Nothing like earth shaking or, because I over the years I've kind of learned to moderate my predictions.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty reasonable. Before we get into wishes, why don't I'll do my predictions then,
Yeah.
and then we can flip back
Let's
and
do
forth.
that.
I predicted new story, new expansion. At the end of summer is what I'm saying. I think it could be fall also. But I do think new story, new expansion, new big bad boss. And by expansion, I mean expansion, not just some extra story tacked on, sort of like IOCAF. I think we'll
Right.
get...
You mean with the levels and
yeah,
everything?
we'll get 5 more levels. We'll get... new, up the crafting and the gear levels and all that kind of thing. Expansion. I bet that they're ready to go back and start doing things that way again. All right. Are you back here? Oh, you didn't make the elevator. I'll wait for you to catch up.
I don't even know where I'm supposed to be going. But there. Oh, I see you now. Okay.
Watch out for the dogs on the left there. So yeah, regular expansion. I'm predicting. So this is a little bit of more of a bold prediction. I'm predicting we get something this year that's a big thing, a bigger kind of thing from the Wall of Crazy. So if I made this kind of thing for 2017, I think server merge would have counted. I think it's going to be more. I'm more thinking now that that's done, a content type of thing, and maybe that will be like PvE GSF or mini games like Pazak and and swoop racing added to the game, or some weird large scale PvP or a new class added to the game. But I think my prediction is we are ready for, and I think they need to do something like a big thing we haven't thought of yet, a little bit of a surprise that'll sort of like come off of that Wall of Crazy type of concept that's going to hit in 2017 or 2018.
That would be nice.
All right, I'm going to start this fight. Ready?
No.
Can I do a ready check? Oh, there it is.
Right. So how do we avoid getting?
So I think as soon as the droid gets summoned, we DPS Xander down to 90% or so. He activates the droid. As soon as the droid gets activated, he drops a circle on the ground, I think at one of our feet, and you just got to watch quick and move out of it. And then you kite the droid into that circle. Because that's that's the imprisoned circle. All right.
So basically we're going to DPS officer Xander down for a bit, but once the droid comes alive, we want to kill him as fast as possible.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready.
All right. Pulling in 3, 2, 1. Done. And now he's activating the droid in 2, 1. All right. Hey, I was out of that. Did you see that even on the screen? I was out of it? Immobilized, physical, unable to act. So just DPS the droid down as fast as you can. Can you probably... Wait, am I out of it? No. Immobilized, physical. Can I... Oh, he's gonna kill me even. Oh, because he killed you too. All right, let's try it one more time, but run really fast away. Or maybe I should try to make Kemval a tank? I don't know. All right, next up on my predictions, what did I say? So I'm predicting a revamp of the CXP system. I think, and probably, and part of that is because if they do an expansion, I do not expect them. In fact, I would be quite disappointed if they just say, all right, CXP now goes to 400 and,
Right.
and because, level went up to 75, and I think they're gonna have to revamp it. And I think if they're smart, and I won't go as far as to say this is a prediction, or fine, I'll say it's a prediction that I think gear will go back to being specific to drops in the game and not come out of crates like it does now. I still like the idea of crates, and I'll get to a wish around that when we talk about wishes, but I predict that CXP, main prediction is CXP is going to need to be revamped completely in some way. If not eliminated, but I don't think it needs to be eliminated, and I don't think it will be eliminated. I think it'll just be revamped and will not work the way it does today.
Wait, so do you feel that BioWare isn't happy with CXP the way it is now?
I just don't think it's... whether or not that they're completely happy with it, I think they get that not everyone else is all that happy with it, and I think... I don't know. No,
Yeah.
I think everyone else would sort of be quite unhappy if we did get the next expansion and CXP went to 400. I think that would drive a lot of people crazy. So
This is exactly the same way I ran back last time. Where's this elevator that I supposedly missed?
the big one, the big one at the top. I went down first.
No,
and
I
you
didn't miss that. Oh, I missed it. I missed an iteration of it, but I didn't. Okay, I gotcha. All right.
So we're gonna try to make Kemval a tank.
I'll put Shay back on healing. Yeah, don't stand where you're standing, because that's where I was standing before when I got. I wonder if it's
Always
that
there?
simple.
Maybe we're both just stupidly standing in the spot where the first one shows up regardless. Maybe. That would be dumb. All right. Pulling in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, he's activating the droid. Yes, that's where it is. So just stand on the other side of this. Do you want me to heal you up a little bit? Throw some heals your way. Let's kill this droid real quick. Whoa, I died again. Well, we can put the companions back on healing. They killed both of our companions again. All right, now we've got this fight down. Wow, we just wiped. We totally wiped on that like 3 times, didn't we? All right, so Kemval will go back on healing. All right, so and then my last prediction is a new game event, and my game event was. So your game event was like DVL. I was more thinking, and my prediction is something like Rat Ghouls or
Right. Like
Bounty Hunter,
if
Bounty
they,
Hunting.
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh, I'm sorry.
This is the elevator I'm talking about. The one where you're the elevator shaft you just jumped down. I will res you
for
at the
those
bottom.
of you that are just listening, I just ran off the elevator. That's why Max is laughing at me.
And you just yelled, "Oh shit," which you don't typically
Yeah,
do.
that too.
in the middle of the podcast. Where's your body? Did you Oh, you
I
rested.
released.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, Kemval ran off and died. I don't even know how that's possible.
I know. He does it every time. So does Shay Vizsla.
So he had to get rezzed. All right.
The thing is, I was not aiming for running off it. I was aiming for the side. I was gonna wait.
Oh shit! All right, maybe that just changed the title of this episode to that. 2018. Oh shit! Okay, so yeah, my one is some new holiday or something. So we sort of have 4 in the game right now, right? We've got Life Day, we've got Bounty Contract, we've got 5. Gree, Rakghoul, and Nar Shaddaa Nightlife.
Right, I forgot about Nar Shaddaa. Yeah.
So I think they need to add one more, and I predict
Yes.
that they will.
Yes, they could come up with another one that goes in the rotation.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
All right. So now wishes. If wishes were horses, beggars would ride. So what would you ride on in 2018, Seema?
Okay, one of my wishes is like some kind of a really sort of giant upgrade of some sort for strongholds. Like maybe you can have all your pets and all your companions present, not as holograms, but they're walking around. Or maybe there's a special quest with quest givers that show up in rotation in your stronghold, and you can do quests for like maybe decorations or something. Maybe they add new rewards to the slot machine, or they add more items that you can interact with in a way like you can with the slot machine, and the dance floor, yes, but more like the slot machine where you can actually get something. So yeah, that would be one thing, is this do something for strongholds.
Nice. I like it. That sounds fun. Cool.
To keep going through mine, or do you want
Yeah,
to interweave?
let's did you get lost again?
Yeah, and well, see, every time you ask me something, I have to bring up my notes, and then I stop running.
Maybe I will read them to you and you can explain them.
Well, a couple of them we've kind of already done to death. I mean, I want something. I have that wish for crafting to be able to make cool things. For searchable inventory, I have that every year.
Mm-hmm.
I would be happy, even if it's not across all the characters, if I could log in a character and know for a fact that what I'm looking for is not on that character or in their cargo hold. That would still be a huge help.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
I would like to see something on the order of flex ops, so that you didn't have to have 8 or 16, but you could have 10 or 12 or 15, well, 15 you can really do, but I mean, something that suits us better in terms of a flexible number of people.
That's
ops.
a great wish. I really like that. And I would like that to maybe even go up above 16. Go to a maximum size group.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
if it's just for story
absolutely.
content and story level rewards, just do some sort of linear scaling on the trash and bosses. I know that's harder than it sounds, but linear scale up and down, some sort of multiplier, so that we could go as few as 6 and as many as 24 in
Right.
a story mode op, and get some fun out of it.
I mean, just for instance, when we do the eyeless, I hate it that if the 17th person can't come.
I know.
Why?
Yeah, I agree.
Why can't we bring 24 in
Right.
for the eyeless and for Xeno Analyst? And I mean, I guess there's an answer to the why, but I would like to change the answer to yes, Seema, we'll do that.
Right.
I would like something fun to work toward other than gear. I realize that gear and character progression is the bread and butter of MMOs, but so is collecting other things.
Yeah. Is Shay here? Where's Shay? I saw her
She
pop in.
I think she popped in and popped out again, and I can't dismiss her either.
she's
Let me go back here.
she's tired of dying. There she is. And she's well, maybe she'll show up when we start the fight. Or,
No. I dismissed her. Now
Oh.
I'm gonna summon her. But I had to run out to dismiss her. Okay. All right.
and we got to remember we've got these emergency culto stations we can use too.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, we're terrible.
All right. Try number 3 or 4. I don't know. We'll get it this time. Don't stand there.
Well, we should be apart from each other because one of us is gonna get with his red circle.
Yeah.
But then I'll move away from here.
Hey, well,
Okay.
we'll just step away. So we both can stack over here by these culto stations, and then whoever gets the red circle can step away.
Yeah, let's just randomly stand by the Colto station.
All right. Pulling in 3, 2, 1. All right, he's activating the droid. There's the droid. Now I can DPS the droid. Wait, back up, back up. Don't let him fixate on you. Hit a Kolto station if he's going to kill our companions. Who is he on? Ooh, he's killing me. Oh, don't kill me, don't kill me. Haha! I gotta kill them faster. What am I doing? Man, he killed me again. Kill him, kill him, kill him. Alright, we're doing something wrong. Alright, one more time. And maybe this will be our last boss of the night. Let's see, you also had... Oh. Well, you had legacy-wide pets, mounts, and toys as a wish.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think we're going to get that.
No, because like we're talking about before the show, because of the system of unlocking. But maybe it could be legacy-wide for the stuff you earn in-game that you can't unlock.
Yeah. Right. So we talked about that before the show. The fact that there is the cartel market unlocking of stuff makes it don't die.
Always good advice.
The chat room is asking if I'm wearing gear. I am.
Made me look.
I did.
I'm wearing gear also.
But yeah, because there's the concept of unlocking account-wide or unlocking legacy out of your collections, it would be a big hit to the structure of how the game works to say all mounts and pets are now account-wide.
Well, it was. I mean, why is being a big hit a reason not to do it? I mean, I
'cause
I think the
they will
bigger
not
hit.
make a lot of money. I think they'll have to fire somebody to do it.
Oh well, yeah. Well, you're talking about the unlocking part.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the other mechanics in the game.
No,
Yeah, the unlocking part, for sure. But along the lines of the searchable inventory, I really would like it too if we had like special storage for mats like they do in Guild Wars 2, where basically each type of mat has its own storage. So yeah, it doesn't take up any room at all in your cargo hold.
Yeah.
Instead, you get this tab that has every possible mat on it, and then how many of each mat you have is, a number.
That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. That is pretty amazing how that works in Guild Wars. I do have like 2 of my tabs in my legacy storage that are dedicated to materials, and it's only grades like 6 through 10 because I couldn't fit you know,
Yeah, I
even
mean,
one of any of the lower grades.
I have like 3 or 4 tabs in my legacy, with mats because of Conquest making all the mats relevant.
Yeah.
All levels are relevant except for the very lowest
Right. Right.
and the very highest, but then those are relevant for crafting.
All right, we're gonna do this boss one more time, and then I'll talk about
Come
my
with me, Shave
wishes.
Isla. Come with me, Shave Isla. Oh, good, she came.
Okay, so we're gonna DPS him down. Maybe we should just. We're gonna die again.
Kimball, put him back on healing, and also when you get the red circle, bubble yourself and heal.
It's the
'Cause it runs
boss.
with-
It's the boss that's doing all the damage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
should we just DPS the boss down?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that.
Is that gonna mess something up and wipe us?
Probably.
I know it is. All right, let's just DPS the boss down and ignore the droid. I obviously still run away from him, but ignore him and just keep all the damage on the boss as much as we can. All right.
All right.
And we'll hit the Kolto stations as best we can. Okay, pulling in 3, 2, 1. Jeez, what was that? Was that red circle? Or is that him just pounding on me? I am pretty frozen here. Why am I so slow? Well, that worked.
Yay.
Is that a huge debuff? Why is Kemval still dying? What is hurting Kemval?
He was frozen for some reason.
Okay. Alright, that was.
Probably as a result of the boss fight.
I was trying real hard. I didn't know what. Just
Run and jump over the edge. He said, oh
Just
shit.
the guy run and jump over the edge. See if he'll jump too. Like come. Okay.
But wait, Sir Galahad in the chat room has a good idea for toys. At least make them like mounts and pets where you don't have to actually have them in your inventory to use them.
That would also be useful. Yeah. Let me just put
it's a great
mine where
idea.
that is a good idea. This is another thing where I think if you could slice this terminal as a little bit of a shortcut. So one of us has to get slicing. So I don't know how to do this without slicing. I went to the one on the left with the $0 next to it. Or the 0 credits.
Okay.
So my wishes. My wishes were... so this is a stretch, but I really wish for player-generated content. And that could take a couple different forms, but I think this would be a big boon to the game in general. And by player-generated content, I mean something like... I think the easiest would be some sort of open world, like open world objectives that you can assault and hold for multiple days as a guild, or in some multiple guilds could be trying to like war against each other and take them back and have. Oh, Governor, be quiet.
You know who he sounds like to me, and I think of this every single time I come in here, is the Wizard of Oz in the 1939 movie.
The wizard, yeah. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. So that's one way they could do it, is player generated content where you've got, objectives and, things you could be warring back and forth on and taking territory and, make it sort of a big deal and a reason for people to do it. If you really, it's harder than it sounds to really make it compelling, but this is the way a game like Eve works. So Eve is all about, at the high end, corporations, which are guilds, holding different pieces of territory and fighting with each other in large-scale wars. But as they hold territory, or they're holding like space stations, you can fight and go to war and take those pieces of territory back from each other, and that's what a whole bunch of the faction wars in Eve are all about. But the way to do that is it's like a multi-day process to get through that and have your guild assault their guilds multiple days in a row. Like the first day you put you put their main structure into a state of disrepair in some ways, and then that allows you to it allows them to recover a little bit in between if they pay attention to it and get in there and recover some. And then you have to come back the next day and sort of finish the job. But there's a lockdown period in between, so you can't just, have a big group of people swarm it all at once and be done. So it provides the opportunity.
So sort of like,
yeah,
sort of like Conquest, but real battles.
Yeah, and
real player battles.
And with doing it right, like the way Eve does it, and having that sort of break in between, puts a countdown timer, which then invites a big conflict in battle, because if you have that countdown timer and you can see when you need to be there to stop the guild, because that's when their unlock comes back, for them to sort of finish you off, you have to show up, or enough of your guild needs to show up to defend at that time, otherwise they get a guaranteed win pretty much if they all show up. So that's a way to do player-generated content. Another.
I almost wish something like that would be not guild-oriented though, because again, then only the big guilds have any chance.
Yeah, right. And that is a challenge with that. And so Eve is definitely dominated by the biggest of the biggest, and then Eve has to have this system of alliances between corporations, because nobody can, even the big corporations, it's not enough. Now you need to your corporation needs to be in an alliance with other corporations to even stand a chance, which is a big pain. So then I had another, but it doesn't have to be that. I don't know. My other idea was, what if either in our strongholds or in a special stronghold, I could have special kinds of hooks where I could put down a boss and I could put down trash, and I could basically be making my own little flashpoint or dungeon, and I could construct it, and it could go on like an open list. Wait, we gotta kill this droid before it gets over there. No, Gumball, don't trigger. We could make.
I like that idea. That sounds like a lot of fun.
And that there would be requirements before it would be complete. But the same rewards as you get for killing bosses and flashpoints. Like CXP packs are dropping from them. I'm gonna knock the guys on the right off, and you knock the guys on the left off. Let's see if we can do this.
Apparently I can't.
I only got one. It's easier with the bounty hunter, because you have a 360 knockback. But yeah, something like that would be a wish. And then how now you can go to the console and see the stronghold list by prestige. Well, maybe then you could list your stronghold as a flashpoint that people could go through, and then you could rate. People could sort of give you thumbs up or upvotes for how cool your arrangement was,
Oh yeah.
and maybe
See, that
you
would
get.
that
Oh, go down
yeah,
this road.
that kind of qualifies under my thing, something, some giant thing for strongholds. Like, what if you could make little interactable rooms, like you say, like little flashpoints in your stronghold? That would be awesome.
Yeah. And then maybe depending on how good yours was and how many people were running through it, you could get you get a little bit of a reward depending on how much you how good of a job you do in creating it. We have run quite long tonight because we kept wiping over and over and over. And what I'm thinking we should do is we should pause the flashpoint here, and maybe we'll finish the flashpoint next week, and finish up my last couple wishes, because I don't want to embarrass myself by going through this the fight of the Wookiee here, because I don't know how this works at this point either. But this was still a fun run through of Kadamimu. So my last couple wishes for 2018. So I wished I predicted CXP was going to have to be rewritten. My wish is how it's going to be rewritten, and my wish is that it turns into a prestige level system. And I don't mean prestige like the way your stronghold decorations get points for that, but
Right.
I mean like a prestige levels at the end of a game, and different games work differently this way, but a lot of games have this kind of system in where if you get to the top level in Diablo, then you can sort of get prestige levels on top of it. If you get to the top level in WoW right now, you have you're still gaining a little bit of power and still leveling up your artifact weapon, which is still sort of like gaining levels beyond the levels at the end. I would like that sort of prestige level system, which you could argue CXP is already. I would like it to continue beyond 300, so it could really be prestige. And maybe it's a geometric progression, so it gets harder and harder to get each level higher and higher and higher. But I want gear separated from that CXP system. I want gear to go back to the way it was, both for PvP and for PvE. Gear to be dropping off the bosses, craftable types of gear also, but gear out of the crates. So the prestige levels can have like cosmetic things in them and titles as you reach different prestige levels and that kind of thing. But my wish is that gear goes back to the way it was. So, another wish, which I think I did have last year also, which I'm doubling down on again for this year. I still wish for the legendary items. Yeah, so I had this pretty much exactly the same. So weapons, armor, I can get a legendary lightsaber. I could get a legendary, I don't know, a legendary earpiece that gives me an extra ability, or an extra,
Right.
It
That does something special.
takes a cooldown and cuts it in half. So people would really get mad at my bounty hunter because I'll be healing myself up all the time or whatever. But and then there's trade-offs. You can only wear one legendary, but maybe you have, there's 16 in the game and 8 are class specific and 8 are generic, and you can, so there might be a couple that work for you. And, min-maxing, maybe there's one perfect one, but maybe because of utility, there might be 2 to choose from for each person at least. And you got to make a trade-off and pick which one you want. And they're really hard to get, and they're really rare. And maybe they're open world drops. Maybe they're something you could also work towards if it's, if maybe takes a really long time, but you could work towards them also if you have really bad luck. WoW has a system of this. They have legendaries, and they have a counter that runs behind the scenes where if you don't do you kill enough bosses where you could have gotten a legendary and you don't get it, they give you an RNG bonus more and more over time until you finally get one.
Right.
But legendary items. And then my last one is a wish, which I think would be cool and it's time for, is a remodel of the fleets. And I think it would be cool if that was tied to the story. So maybe in this next story, in this next chapter, the big bad guys come and maybe they blow up each of the fleet vessels. And as a result, we have to move to a temporary new fleet vessel, and it gets built out over time, and that's sort of like a new thing in the game. I like that we have the fleets. I was gonna put a wish in here instead of something like with the guild ships, make guild ships really cool and useful, and then so we can spend more time on our guild ships. But I like that people congregate on the fleet, and I think that's an important part of this game and an important part of other MMOs. Have those like capital cities type of concepts. So then my idea was, well, let's get a remodel. And what better way for remodel than to blow up the old one, nuke it from orbit, and have a new layout for the new one, and then it's gonna have all the same stuff on it, but
a mental picture of a really cool blur cinematic of the fleet getting blown up.
Yes, get Blur to do it. That would be awesome. So there, I think that would be a cool wish for 2018.
And then the Imperial side and the Republic side, maybe this time they wouldn't get their fleet ships from the same manufacturer.
Right.
We might end up with different fleets.
Yeah. No, I think it should. You mean like the fleet station? I think it should look completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. It should be blown up, and it's something completely new. And I don't know.
Right,
maybe it's on a planet, or maybe it's I don't know. But yeah, it should be something completely new.
But I mean, completely new, but also the pub one different from the Imperial one.
Oh, in a different shape. That would be interesting. Yeah. Because right now they're sort of mirrors of each other. Just different.
They are
art.
the same. Like they bought them at the same Best Buy.
Yeah, they just ask for the different paint job, practically.
Yeah, Theron can nuke it.
Yeah, that'll be his.
Make it more popular.
Make it more popular. Yeah. Okay, so there's our predictions. There's our wishes. We will record these for posterity and see how well we do at the end of 2018 and see how this works out. This is our longest podcast. Got to find a way if we a contingency plan if we mess up and wipe at a flashpoint again, that we could cut it off sooner. We probably could have stopped after a couple wipes, but I did want to get that
you could edit out that part where I said, "Oh shit."
No, we can keep that in. Yeah, I think someone else already said in the chat room we need to isolate that and play it over and over as a drop-in. So I think with that train wreck of a flashpoint, but an awesome set of wishes and predictions, our EPC 226 droid here can wrap up and be ready to broadcast this first podcast of 2018 to all of you. So please keep up with us on Twitter at MaxTheGray and at AIESEMA. And if you know any cool people out there that should be joining our guild, AIE, you can tell them to come find us on Starforge or check us out at aie-guild.org or catch up with us on Twitter, because we would love to talk to those awesome people. And if those awesome people are you, give us a shout out and we will get you a guild invite, because that's why we do this. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Best wishes for a fantastic 2018 and later, everyone.
Later.